the robot had balls. Do you remember that?
In the world of conspiracies, the supernatural, and the downright spooky, there are only two men who you can trust. Denis Len and Roger O'Sullivan. Or as they prefer to be called, the Unexplained Legends. This week on Unexplained Legends, the mystery of the Voynich Manuscript.
Welcome, listeners, to this week's episode of Unexplained Legends. I'm Roger O'Sullivan, and with me, as always, is
Denis Margaritaville Len.
And together we are the Unexplained Legends. Denis, you've been hit very hard by the news of the passing of one of your great heroes, I would say.
Yes, Jimmy Buffett.
I fucking knew you'd say that.
Why didn't you let me say it?
I fucking knew you'd say it, because in my head I was just going, 3, 2, 1, Jimmy Buffett, of course he's going to say it.
Why didn't you let me say it without consequence?
You were a big fan of his.
Yeah, it's a play on his music because it's such a buffet of shit. No, it's not. I do love Jimmy Buffett. Me and my family, we always go to Margaritaville every year. It's the most expensive trip ever. We can barely afford, or my parents actually lost their house over it, but it's amazing. You go down there, everyone's got an alcohol problem, but we pretend that we're all just having drinks, and I just really enjoy it. And I just don't think, it can't be. Margaritaville can never be the same again.
No, I think it's highly unlikely.
No, you asked me what's my favourite song. I couldn't pick one. I literally could not pick one. I have to say he's a man that I so who's that guy? Is it Roy Cooder? Is that his name?
I think you would know better than me.
Let me just look at it.
I've never heard of those that name before in my life.
Roy Cooder's he's actually I think he's a pretty accomplished musician and an artist and stuff. Probably absolutely massive. You know, one of those guys, right? But he's got some cool stuff. It's kind of like Frank Zappa would be a better example. Frank Zappa has got some great albums, right? And then he's got some really, really awful albums that you just can't listen to at all.
I think Frank Zappa is a man who definitely, his music wouldn't have survived the advent of AI.
No. Oh, wait, no. Why did I agree with you on that? I don't know why I agreed on that.
I think so much of Frank Zappa's music, I think you could make with an AI now.
But isn't he a brilliant guitarist, no?
Yeah, he's always, his big criticism is people say he's always, he's very hemmed in by the scales. He's considered a very robotic guitarist. You're never, ironically for his music, which is so daring, the big criticism of him is you'll never hear him play a note in a solo that somebody else hasn't played first. Yeah.
Well, it's a slippery slope defending Frank Zappa, so I'm going to leave it. But basically what I was trying to say there is Roy Cooder is one of these guys, if you listen to a couple of these songs you think they're great and then the rest of it is crap. Jimmy Buffett is a guy who I would think he'll have one song song I'll really like. I've yet to find it, unfortunately.
I'm very surprised. Do you know what, I think it wouldn't shock me if in a maybe a year or two you were telling me that he has some great tunes and you've just found him.
I think he's more on the, you have a side to you that is super cheese that I can't even get near. But it is a very, it's a very select, smelly French cheese. And I think that Jimmy Buffett is in your wheelhouse. There'll be some song in there that you'll listen to 30 times in a row.
Anything I enjoy with the full earnestness of my heart.
With panache.
Yes. Yeah. This is a good example of, I love Blue by Eiffel 65, right?
You do, yeah.
I genuinely do, and I've listened to it so much, and I think something that people that's obviously a song that I think people would say is overplayed. You've heard it a lot. Something that's remarkable about it is that you can still find little elements in it. There's a part in it where the bass line is in a very dissonant movement compared to what's going on with the keys.
You know what is so frustrating about you, right? First of all, right, no one is surprised that you are lauding fucking Eiffel 65 Blue, right? But just a couple of sentences ago, you were like, Frank Zappa, bit robotic.
Yeah, bit robotic. Yeah, Eiffel 65.
I know you're
organic, beautiful, rich.
Organic beings.
But here's the thing that's mind-blowing about it, is if you should listen to, I don't know if you've heard the recent remix of it, or reinterpolation of it called I'm Good.
No, I haven't.
Okay.
Let me write it down. What is it? I am good.
I'm
good.
I'm good. I'm good
Okay.
with the contraction there. I
Yeah.
don't know who I'm good is by. Let me just look it up. I'll look it up on my phone actually because I don't. Oh well, do you know what? No, I'll look it up on the PC now because I've clicked 10 times with my mouse and that's the sound that I that I was trying to avoid.
Do you have Google alerts that are just like any remixes of
Yeah.
Blue? Just get on it right away.
So it's David Guetta and BB Rexha maybe.
Oh yes.
Or maybe it's Bebe. Bebe Hexa. Rexa. Well, I'll say maybe one half of the duo have done a great job on this. But
David Guetta, I assume. Yeah.
yes, yeah. But my point with this is if you listen to that's a great example of particularly I'd love for you to listen to it because you wouldn't really like Blue by Alpha 65 to begin with.
Wait again, like it's just these shots at me. I was a huge fan of that song when it came out. Huge.
But you wouldn't be listening to it now, like you know.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not a connoisseur like you are. Like I said, I'm not going to listen to it 25 times a day. No,
yeah,
I'm not.
It's in my downloads on Spotify, so that when I do shuffle, I can. That's true. So that when I do shuffle, it's one of the
and a hard drive
that will come up, right? So but my point before we get on with the episode, maybe this will play into the episode a bit, but my point is you should listen to I'm Good because I think you would be shocked that you could make a version of that song that's even more stripped of the organicness.
Okay, I'll get on it.
And you should hear like how a modern shiny production version of it. I think you'll begin to understand how much like organic shine there actually is to the original when you hear this new processed one.
Organic shine, that is an incredible phrase for Blue Eiffel 65. Well done.
Speaking, Denis, of these, let's say these hidden gems or these mysteries of the universe that we haven't quite gotten our hands on. This week, Denis, we're also doing a piece of art that has confused and astounded people for hundreds of years.
Mona Lisa.
No.
Some sort of device.
No.
The Sistine Chapel.
You're in the area. We're doing something actually, Denis, that crosses over with my recent Instagram success, which I hadn't realised until just
for
now.
the love of God.
We're doing something called the Voynich Manuscript.
Oh, great. Do you think you'll get a couple of videos out of this?
No, I don't know. Not quite, I think.
As on the other monitor, there's the video ready to go.
Yeah.
Okay, so the was it the vagina monitor? What?
The Voynich Manuscript. Are you familiar with this?
My Voynich.
Oh no.
No, I have no idea. What's Voynich? Is that a place?
The Voynich is it's actually the name of a man.
Okay.
Who discovered the manuscript?
It's the name of a man. It's such a weird way of putting it.
It's the name of a man.
Okay, Voynich. Oh, before we carry on, right, I do want to say anyone who loves supporting the podcast, right, we're going to be over on Patreon today, and I think instead of continuing on with our story about a guy having a creepy alien worm inside his aquarium, which is a true story, I think we might actually do a Jimmy Buffett special, so please join us on Patreon after the episode. But right now we're going to do the Voynich manuscripts. And is this, I assume this is going to be alien linked.
Well, listen, we'll leave that to the theories. That's all I'll say.
I'm feeling quite Da Vinci Code in this. I'm liking this.
Yeah, get in. That's the space to get into.
Holy Grail?
No.
Back out of that space?
Get back out of it. Just go, like, mystery.
Before we start, can you just clarify what your maybes mean?
What do you mean?
Because your maybes are always looking to the left, like looking to your screen and saying maybe. Like, does that mean... How do you not know what's coming up?
Well, no, the maybe is like, could that be a theory?
Okay, great. So if we hear typing in a minute, we know what's happening.
So I guess on the back of that, then, Denis, we'll dispense with the maybes, and we'll head on with the lamestream narrative. The Voynich Manuscript is perhaps one of the most enigmatic and mysterious texts in the history of the world. It is a cryptographic puzzle that has baffled scholars, linguists, and cryptographers for hundreds of years. This ancient tome... Why are you laughing?
Just the tone of your voice. Very murder mystery. For years.
This ancient tome is named after the rare book dealer Wilfrid Voynich, who discovered the book in 1912 in the Villa Mondragone in Italy.
What does that mean? What's a villa? Is that a town or a place, or
it's
is
like
that
a
a
place.
house?
It's like a place. I was going to include that little piece of information, but I thought it sounded cool, didn't it?
No, it does sound cool.
Mondragone. It even sounds like dragon.
You know, with what are they? The Dead Sea Scrolls or whatever.
Yes. Oh,
you
we
know,
should do them someday.
Yeah, you know where like, I don't know, they fell through a wall or something. Actually, no, that was Transformers. But do you remember that in Transformers, in one of the like last ones that I could stomach, where two horrendously handled robots, I think they fell through a wall in Petra in Jordan, and I think they found a secret room in there.
Really?
But I don't know, am I confusing that with how they found the Dead Sea Scrolls? But that was just found in a room somewhere as well, kind of like that.
Are these, let's say, are these two Transformers you're on about? Are they, like, would you say that they maybe...
I would say they don't represent their communities accurately.
No, but they're meant to be, let's say, Latinx.
I'm not actually sure if they are. That's actually
Really?
not my memory of it.
That's
so
not your wheelhouse. What was your memory? If you can just kind of coyly. I'm not trying to
coyly. All right, okay.
Here.
So no one else will get it. I thought they were more kind of they were more street smart. You know, maybe raised in a rough place in New York or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, actually, yeah. I think that's. But again, I can't remember. Maybe they were.
I think I might have maybe tapped out. This is what's crazy. I might have tapped out on the Transformers just before that one.
For me, it was the one where the robot had balls. Do you remember that? Where it was like a big... You know when the Transformers can come together to make like a super duper Transformer?
Yeah.
And I think it was crawling on a pyramid, and it literally had a pair
two
of
wrecking
balls.
balls or something, was it?
Yeah, but then I started looking up stuff, and I was like, "This is bullshit." And whatever. Michael Bay did say something. He was like, "I make movies for 14-year-olds."
Well, that's
I was like,
fair
enough. Anyway, go on. Let's keep going.
Okay. So it's believed, Denis, that this book dates back to the early 15th century, but its origins, purpose, and contents remain a mystery. One of the most perplexing aspects of the Voynich Manuscript is its indecipherable script and images. The text within is composed of approximately 240 pages, written in a language that appears to be entirely unlike anything we've ever seen. The characters are ornate and meticulously crafted, with a flowing cursive style that defies classification. Cryptographers and linguists from all corners of the globe have attempted to crack the code, but to date, no one has successfully deciphered the manuscript's contents.
Alright, I'm going to throw out some surface level knowledge of everything, of the history of the human race at this stage, right?
Yeah.
But it was only possible for them to decipher the hieroglyphics in the pyramids with the Rosetta Stone, was it?
Yeah.
Right, so like they did actually need a piece to crack the code. So with this, they would need a piece as well, I assume, yeah?
Well, I think where you're getting off, where maybe you might be, like, confused is the wrong term. I'm not trying to say you're confused.
Senile is probably a better word.
Where you maybe are maybe mentally unwell in this respect.
Suffering mentally.
Yeah, is the fact, long suffering mentally, is the fact that this is this is only from the 1500s or the 1400s.
Oh, right. Okay. I was going way more ancient. I was going BC for some reason.
No. So I think at this point it might be useful for you to look it up.
Oh, so this is more of kind of like, a Da Vinci, like, mirror written stuff.
Yeah. Like, as in,
I mean?
it is. I would say it's probably best to describe it as it's kind of uncanny, in that it's like so many other things that we have, that we are familiar with. Like, it will look quite like a.
Okay, all right. I'm just having a look at it here, and I think you could maybe say if someone saw like the Book of Kells, it's like definitely not as good as that. Let's say it's not. It's more like the guy who was doing the Book of Kells had a diary that he used to fill in at night. But yeah, it has a lot of cool. It's it's actually quite some of the stuff is what's the melty clock guy? What's his name?
What are you talking about, Dali?
Yeah, it's a bit like him. Some of the stuff.
You just really made me. This is off topic, but you just made me remember that went to the shop today. No Mr. Freezes.
Yeah.
No, totally sold out. This is a heat wave here. Totally sold out. Only ones that were left were sugar free. I've never even tried them. I'm not going to pick them up because why are there that many left? Everything else gone. Why are there that many left? So I decided I'd revert to Jubblies.
Well, what are Jubblies again?
Yeah, they're like triangular wedges, like pyramid shaped. So I thought I'd give a Jubbly a go. I took one and started eating it while it was half frozen.
Yeah.
There's definitely stuff in Jubblies that aren't in the normal, in a bad way, that aren't in the normal Mr. Freezes. They're different.
Why did you get too much of a buzz from it? Like, was it like more powerful?
It almost felt like there was like gelatine in it.
Oh.
Now I looked at the ingredients and there isn't.
Oh, I have a story for you, right? Right, I'll do it really quickly, right? Because we need to get back to the codex, right? But a person I know, they went up to a cafe. This only happened like 2 days ago, right? Went up to a cafe and they said, "Can I have a mocha, please?" Right? Yeah. Got a mocha, came down, started drinking it, felt this thing in their throat, and was like, "Ugh, what the hell was that?" Ugh, right?
Right.
So then they look into their drink, huge bug inside in their drink.
No.
With wings and legs, like a big nasty thing, right? There's picture evidence of this as well, right? Big nasty thing. So it meant like they ate one, and there's one in the drink. Then they poured out the drink, and there was another one at the bottom of it.
No.
Yeah.
That many?
Yeah, 3 inside and ate one.
And
then they went up and complained and said, like, look, like there's 3 bugs. I'm after eating one of them, and the guy said, send an email to HR.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Fucking hell. There's so many things going on there. First of all, would you think one of the bugs is like, Terry?
Yeah, definitely. Well, 2 of his friends are dead. One of them got eaten and one of them drowned.
How did Wilson? How did it get through the cap of the like mug?
Well, you see, I'm thinking it was probably this was a glass. Yeah, this was like one of those like little kind of conical glass things. But I'm thinking they were probably maybe in the ice or something, or like in the glass, and the guy just put it under without looking, and then 3 dirty, rotten bugs inside it.
But Joe would have been good.
Anyway, go on.
If he'd gone, listen, I'm after eating one of these, and there's 2 of them in my drink. He man goes, don't listen, no worries, we'll replace that one. Don't worry about it.
I was saying that he had a pocket full of flies. All right, so we've got this codex, and so this makes much more sense then. So this is someone's kind of personal codex, then, is it?
Well, put a pin in that, Denis.
Can I just ask one thing?
Yeah.
It's not probably normal for someone to even be able to write back then, right? Write like this and illustrate and stuff.
With this level, like with the vellum and stuff like that, I think it's not. It wouldn't be like everyday occurrence.
Yeah, because what I'm trying to establish is not just some guy saying like, "Oh, I went to the shop today and I couldn't get what I wanted," you know.
No,
or I went to the blacksmith, whatever.
Here's something interesting for you though. That I think might be true. That do you know the way you say A4 and A1 and A all those?
Yeah, I say them all the time.
Yeah, do you know the fucking the letters that you do for piece of paper?
Paper, yeah, and gizms for the weight.
Yes, yeah. That system of like A3 or whatever is how many times you would have had to fold a manuscript page back in the day to get to that size.
That's one that you say at Christmas and someone has the real fact and you get shamed at the Christmas table. But it's very interesting.
I'll John, I'll look it up in the Den files.
Yeah, I think it's better to leave people have it and let them go into the world and make a fool of themselves and then come back angry at us.
Yeah. In the Den, by the time we get to the Den files, we'll know the truth, and you'll still be ignoramus. So, Dennis, some have speculated that it could have been a constructed language, a hoax, or a secret code. Accompanying the cryptic text are intricate illustrations of plants, celestial bodies, and human-like figures. The depictions of plants are particularly intriguing, as they resemble no known botanical species, leading some to believe that the manuscript may contain valuable insights into undiscovered plants and herbal remedies, or perhaps it is referencing things from beyond our realm.
One of them, just to give people an idea of what it looks like at home, is one of them definitely looks like Bellsprout from Pokemon.
Do you think it's like an early Pokemon guide? Very early.
It's a Pokedex. The other stuff definitely, like, there's a lot of kind of like trees and roots and very like leg centric and a lot of stuff that might look like kind of underwater kind of vertebrae and stuff, but definitely this stuff looks alive, whatever they're drawing.
A few saucy pictures in there, are there?
There are, yes. I've seen a weird yes, it's my answer.
Do you know what? There's a manuscript. There's a common enough manuscript image that I keep coming across, and I'm like, I can't make a video with that, or Instagram will probably ban me. But there's so many pictures of this where it's usually Mary, but like let's just say a mother in a manuscript book squirting.
Oh, Jesus.
Breastfeeding,
Jesus.
But squirting the milk from her breast.
Oh, like, God!
Across
Do you realize what you just said there? First?
What? Your
pauses are horrific. Like, you said you first saying it was Mary, and then you said squirting. Pause.
Squirting
like,
milk.
No one was thinking milk.
Squirting breast milk across like the page into the mouth of her child.
Jesus.
And that's just in the. Yeah, but that's him.
That was redundant.
Yeah. So, Dennis, to continue, right? Others speculate that the illustrations could purely be symbolic or even fantastical in nature, further adding to the manuscript's enigma. The Voynich Manuscript's origins are another source of intrigue. While it's commonly attributed to the 15th century, the identity of its author and the purpose of its creation remain unknown. Some theories suggest that it was crafted by a skilled alchemist or herbalist seeking to record esoteric knowledge, while others propose that it was a clever forgery designed to deceive. Some even believe that it may be the result of a monk driven mad by the devil. What are you clicking on?
I was just having a look at some of the pages, but I don't know. You see, I'd normally buy the hoax thing if it was like today or something, but back then, like, what would you really be wasting your time doing that?
So the hoax thing, we'll get into this in theories, but the hoax thing, people speculate that it was Wilfred Voynich that hoaxed it, but so he's a rare bookseller. If you didn't know that, that was what his job was. So people suspected that he falsified this to sell like this one-off book.
Yeah.
But the big thing about that like runs against it is the fact that they've actually subsequently carbon dated the book, and it is from like the period where he suggested it was from.
Oh, that's cool. That is great.
Yeah,
I'm actually happy that we didn't go through this hour and then be like, it's actually from 1985.
No, now I guess you could argue, I don't know how carbon dating works, you could argue maybe it was made with vellum from then.
Would they be able to? They can't carbon date the ink. Thing you can do.
I don't know. I guess usually when you're carbon dating, like you're not carbon dating too much ink.
If the ink is made out of trees, they could do it probably. Yeah.
Yeah, well, actually, that's a good question, because you could just as easily say that the ink could be from then as well. No, you probably couldn't.
That would be very hard. I've had biros there. They're like harden after 6 months. I hardly think that ink is sticking around. So it is from the 1400s, yeah?
Yes, that's what I believe is the case. And obviously there's loads of jokes there to be done about carbon dating and dating some like actually going on a date with carbon.
How did it go?
I think it's not going too well. Let's just say I'll need some carbon offsets.
How many rings did she have?
She had 30 rings. Yeah, and she wouldn't let me inside a single one of them.
That's good.
We're back. We're back, baby. Okay, so Dennis, to continue, the Voynich Manuscript. Oh no, sorry, I had that. You never picked up on me saying that it was potentially a monk driven mad by the devil. I didn't seem to.
I'm not a devil person.
You're not a devil person.
I felt the way that you said it. You weren't.
No,
even
I think there's something to that. To continue, Dennis, the manuscript's journey. What the fuck? You just put a like a Watson or something in your mouth, or quaver, and then went.
Oh, I wouldn't be. Wouldn't be fucking caught dead eating a Watson
or something. What is it?
I can only eat like a small bird. No, it's what is it? It's eat real lentil chips that were on offer in Sainsbury's.
Nice. Are we sponsored by them now? Are we?
I'd love to be sponsored by them. You'd
no,
love them.
Yeah.
Actually, no, you had crisps. Anyway,
so
continue.
The manuscript's journey through time is equally mysterious, with gaps in its provenance that only deepen the mystery. Countless attempts have been made to decipher the Voynich Manuscript, ranging from linguistics analysis to cryptographic methods, but none have provided conclusive results. Some progress has been made in identifying patterns in potential word structures, but the overall meaning of the text remains elusive. The manuscript continues to captivate the imaginations of scholars and amateur cryptographers alike.
What's the story with the front of it? Does it have a title or anything? Like on the front of it, does it have? What does it say on the front of this manuscript?
I don't know. I think it just has like maybe. I don't think it has any cover.
Does it have a little penguin at the bottom?
Yeah, it's penguin. Very early Penguin classics.
They already knew before
like,
they released it. This is going to be a classic. All right, so to sum up so far, right? So we've got this codex that no one seems to have been able to crack. And am I right in saying, and it's from the 1400s, and am I right in saying that people have like proper, like big companies have tried to like do this, or is it just like kind of amateur guys online?
I would say maybe in between. I don't think Shell have like gone in on this.
Yeah,
no,
they're not.
I don't think it's something like I don't think Apple are trying to get this figured out. But I'm saying groups of scholars.
You're more Sainsbury's.
I'm thinking maybe
more.
the Co-op might have had a crack off it.
Yeah, like they'd sponsor it, but okay, so that kind of a level. I really hope. And are you saying that none of it was cracked at all? Like this is the other thing, right? That this is more theories. Why would you make this if it couldn't be cracked?
Well, I think we'll have to get into that with the theories.
Is this is one of the theories? If it's not, it should be. Is one of the theories that this is like an early manual for the what are they called? The Illuminati?
Yes. Yeah. No, not quite. But there's stuff in that area. Okay. So again, put a pin in that. We're nearly done the lamestream narrative now. Anyway, Dennis, your least favorite part of the podcast. In recent years.
I tell you, Roger, I can't stand the
yeah. Honestly, not for me. The bit I like, my favorite bit of the podcast is the bit at the end where I tell you all your theories are bullshit, and then I go into the infos. They're your favorite bits.
Yes.
So Dennis, right? In recent years, the Voynich Manuscript has become more accessible thanks to digitizing efforts. So people putting it online, allowing researchers from around the globe to collaborate on deciphering its secrets. However,
Okay, but sorry, no, right? When you say researchers, like, can you give me a few of their names?
I could on the Wikipedia page if I wanted to.
Marglar 69 and stuff, and all these guys. No, there's no doctor.
There would be, I'd
these
say.
Researchers.
I'd have to go to Wikipedia, but I'm loath to do it because I've had 3 different people message me and say if the clicking on the podcast doesn't stop, we're losing listeners.
What? Who said that to you? Who? I like that clicking. I like hearing a bit of action in the podcast.
It does drive people up the walls. So I'm now. Yeah.
Can I just say, are they a good representation? Do we want to lose them?
No, we couldn't lose. Some of these pay us.
1 second there. Where's my keyboard? I need to disconnect my keyboard.
So it puts me in a very strange position where I have all the knowledge in the world to prove you wrong. Dennis.
What? I'm just looking up something.
It puts me in a very strange position where I have all the knowledge in the world at my fingertips to like actually back up my assertions, but I'm tied down. I'm tied down by the fact that people can't deal with somebody going click. I understand it when I edit back. I understand it where I'm like, really, 20 clicks in a 2-minute period. This is too much. So the clicking guys, the click gang. Don't worry, we're on top of it. We're on top of the culprit, and we're trying to get it sorted out. So Dennis, right? It remains one of history's greatest unsolved mysteries, with the manuscript's allure still enduring to this day. However, until the Voynich Manuscript's code is cracked and its true purpose is revealed, it will continue to be a symbol of the unknown, and it remains, until this day, unexplained. Legends.
Jesus. No, it doesn't remain unexplained legends. That makes no sense. Okay, cool. So just to sum up, I think it's the same summary I've done already. We have a potential author. It's very old. It is clarified as being, or like whatever it is, confirmed as being from the date that it allegedly is. And but no one has cracked any part of it.
No.
So that's the troubling bit for me, because like if it was a hoax, you would want it to be found out, wouldn't you? Like you would want it to be.
Well, not if you're Voynich. Not if you're Wilfred Voynich, because then you're out of cash.
Oh, but like, you know, you want it to be cracked eventually. Well, what about AI? Have they
put it into ChatGPT? Listen, have a go off that.
Sort this out. Will we do it?
I don't know how we could.
Can we get like any? Has anyone made the font? I swear to God, they have.
I'm sure they have. Here.
The Voynich font. That's cool.
Hearing a lot of clicking over there.
Let me. Sure. Wait, my keyboard was disconnected for comical reasons. So
several clicks, and then. So didn't even do Dennis, we'll crack on with the theories because we have loads of them. For I think we haven't had this many theories in a long while. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 theories. Yeah, 9 theories. So strap in, right? Theory number 1, Dennis, is that it's a cipher. So a cipher
what's a cipher? Is it, the Green Lad in Safari Park.
What? Jesus!
You just did a comical face palm.
That's probably one of the worst things you've ever said. That's one of your worst jokes, I think.
I thought that was.
It would have been okay, obvious, except for the voice at the end. Yeah.
Well,
he's lower pitched than that. Yeah, I think you're getting there. At that. You
okay. Sorry. I didn't mean to upset you. There's a lad from Kerry, and the only one he can do is Snorlax, but he doesn't even do it right. He just does it in his own Kerry accent, and he thinks it's very accurate. He just goes Snorlax.
That's very good. Do you know what? Actually, nobody ever talks about do the Pokemon have accents based on the areas. They don't.
They don't.
So you're not saying that. So there's not like a Pikachu from Mallow that goes Pikachu. Yeah,
No one would want Pikachu from Mallow.
I think that there's a good argument to be made that if they're Pokemon from different areas of the world with different accents.
How long is it going to take you to make that video?
If we get this wrapped up quick enough, I could get it done tonight. What would one from Dublin sound like? Pikachu.
Pikachu. I'm on. It's so bad. My reach all the time for Dublin is whatever you want me to say. Then I'm on heroin.
Jesus.
It's because they're short films, man. Every Dublin short film, every one of them is just about two lads going around.
Just that one.
Everyone.
But that's the only one. Yeah.
Everyone.
But that's the only one. The great film. So Denis, the cipher is to actually get back to what a cipher is. It's like a coded language. I think the most famous one that you will have heard of is the Zodiac cipher.
Well, I was going to bring up the Zodiac earlier because that's another one that confuses me. Is like why are they making these things if people can't crack them?
Well, I think so. I quite like the Zodiac, not like what he was up to, but just like what reading about him and stuff. And
sounds like you admire him.
I'm just saying that one of the you have to admire somebody who puts that much effort into their passion. But no, what I was going to say is that the last cipher, the uncracked cipher, some people suggest with the Zodiac, in the case of the Zodiac, is that it was made to not be found out. That it was like kind of an eternal red herring.
What, to keep people off them as well, is it? Like a deliberate dead end?
Basically, just so that people would continue to be like, okay, if we can solve this, we'll be in the business. Like, but
wow.
I think it's hard to know. Other people speculate that he made a mistake in the final cipher, and that's why.
Oh, wouldn't you? To be honest, right? If I was a Zodiac killer and I did that,
yeah,
I would reveal myself.
I think that's very telling of you. You absolutely would. That's how to get you. This is how to get you.
Yeah, but
if you become a serial killer, if you become a murderer, they hold a press conference. They're fucking shit. We're here to to address the recent murders that have been happening in the in London, and we believe that the person who's committed these murders is very disorganized. He's late a lot. We believe that he's messy. And really, we believe he's a stupid guy. Wait
a minute! Just get up from the crowd.
You throw off your fake press credentials. I dispute that. I think I think he's a smart guy. No. The paper falling out of your pocket.
Anyway, me and my big sleeping bag with a body in it are going out of here.
So the first one's it's a cipher. It's a secret code. That kind of ties into what you were talking about. There's another one that fits into that better, but in terms of what are they trying to hide, right? The next one, people speculate that it's shorthand. So it's a person writing in shorthand for themselves. So they're making journalists so they're making
shorthand.
Notes for themselves, but in a way that if you don't know the shorthand, you're not going to be able to decipher it.
I have notes that I can't decipher in my own phone about stand-up bits and stuff. That I wrote them in shorthand and they make absolutely no sense now. But they're actually quite funny, but they're funny to me in a different way now because it just looks like I had no sense about me at all.
They're funny to you, but it's unlikely you'll be able to take them on stage and it will just work off the bat. No.
It will not work, even if I brought not a hope. All right, so I think this is probably your best theory in this so far. Like, as in, this is probably I've only had two.
Pikachu.
Oh man, that video is going to kill me.
Pikachu.
That video is going to kill me.
Oh, what's a Pokemon with the T in its name, so we can give it a little so we can shorten it. Milk Ank. Doesn't quite work.
What's the tangly guy?
Yeah.
No.
Anyway, to continue. So, next one, Dennis, is stignography. So, this is kind of like shorthand, where it's the idea of like you're skipping every few letters. So you're getting a condensed version of this. So again, it makes sense to you, like the writer. You understand what letters you drop and stuff.
But the only problem is that this language doesn't make any sense.
But yeah, but did
so like they don't know what the language is. Well, I mean, how likely is it that this guy like made up his own language and then shortened it? Like surely it would just be a code.
Dennis, that brings us on to the next theory, which is something that it's a natural language, which I wasn't familiar of until I investigated this topic. But a natural language is the idea of like a language that naturally develops amongst, let's say, small communities. So the idea that this is actually a language that existed and was known, but it was so narrowly used and known that that's why it appears baffling to us today. So that there was a small group that used it. But
surely there would be, like, where was it found?
It was found in Italy.
So surely there would be some root of the language like that.
But here's the problem: it's found hundreds of years after it was created.
Yeah, but I mean, around that time, like you're going to get similar things in Italy. Like that language is going to come from something.
But what if it didn't?
So, but what? It just like manifested on its own, but it would have to have no outside.
Let's say it's a super isolated community in the 1400s, and they've like developed their own form of writing for their own natural language,
and just built a wall around themselves and just never looked over it. And what about the flowers and stuff then? If it is like a super whatever, like isolated community, then like there should be like a patch of somewhere in Italy that is like nowhere else, right?
Yeah, it's gone now. And do you know why?
Okay,
this will really upset you. Is that they paved it to put up a parking lot.
There you go. Yeah, and my cider joke was bad. I think that's the second time you've said that on the podcast.
That's the second version of that same.
But wait,
joke.
it couldn't be in an isolated place though. Like where could it possibly be in Italy?
But it might not be Italy. The book was found there, but the book was found there 500 years after it was created. Yeah, so it could have been from anywhere. Somewhere. Who knows?
God, there's a lot of get out of free jail cards there, isn't there?
That's not really my problem. It's not my problem. It's not my I wish it was me problem. It's a you problem, right? Next one. I think this is probably
Wait. Sorry. Back up. Couldn't they identify where this thing is from the materials that they're using? So, like, if there's materials around the place,
if that's true, I haven't read it on the Wikipedia page. If that's true, I haven't come across it. I don't know exactly where. There's loads of different potential authors. They just know Europe, basically, Central Europe. That's the take on it, right?
Okay.
Next one is that it's a constructed language, brackets like universal language. So you're familiar with Esperanto? Okay, Esperanto is an attempt.
What was that huge song that was out for ages? It was really annoying.
Despacito or something. The Esperanto is a language, is an attempt to make a universal language. It's like a language that will just work for everyone. Okay. And there are suggestions that what if this is somebody's own attempt to create a language and create a universal language?
All right, but wouldn't he, if that was his attempt, wouldn't he like include in the book? Could you imagine that as well? If he was like, and remember, don't forget your companion book.
Well, what if it's just a hobby he's doing? Something he's doing in his spare time.
Well, if it is a hobby, right, the first thing you're going to do at the front of that book is put in your intentions.
But he wrote it in a language we couldn't read.
Oh, you're not going to write it in a language they can't read because it just makes no sense.
Sorry.
It's like a how-to manual, and you read all of it.
That's it.
Nothing. You can't get anything from it. No, I don't think it's an attempt to create a universal language if he's not going to include the current language is using
Okay,
it.
next one. We've kind of covered this already, but a hoax.
I actually think the hoax. This is one of the first times where I'm just like, why would he? I think the codex and the ciphers and stuff, I think that's way more likely than it being a hoax.
Okay.
It's too much effort. I think the most it's going to be is like his version of just like a little secret language to like put his diary in, or like at minimum is what I mean.
Next theory then, Dennis, is something called it's the written version of glossolalia. Glossolalia. Are you familiar with this? It's like the idea of speaking in tongues. So this guy, he was writing in tongues. Or maybe he was trying to transcribe a guy speaking in tongues, and he was like, fuck, what?
Oh. That's actually quite interesting. But then the problem is, I think if you were to write it, like, because, okay, if I was to do that there, right, like just make up my own stuff, that would actually be really, really hard to do. Have you ever actually used, they're kind of like the meditation coloring books?
No, I'm an adult.
Right,
I'm messing. I'm messing.
Right. Oh, you've offended a lot of our listeners. You're going to get a few more messages.
Click, click,
You're going to get a few more messages.
Quickly, bring back the clicks.
So with the coloring stuff, you just like color in these kind of like intricate drawings and whatever, right? But one thing I challenged myself to do once was I was like, don't create a pattern in it. Just like color it in all the wrong places, like as what your brain is thinking, and it absolutely broke my head. Like it was stressing me out doing it. I hated it. But I think if you were to, let's say, talk in tongues and write it down, just thinking about it, I think that would be brutally hard to get yourself to do that. But the big hole in this theory is there's no way that you could create repetitive fonts or repetitive lettering and stuff. There's
if you were channeling from the beyond, maybe you could.
Where's the beyond? What are they channeling?
God.
Bravo in trouble.
It's Eurotrash. It's a transcription of the binary code of Eurotrash. The next one, Dennis, of what are they channeling? This is the demonic theory. The idea that they're channeling like a demon coming into their head and is making them write down all the stuff. Like the monk driven mad by the devil.
I think that's actually more likely than them just writing in tongues, which is.
So do you believe the devil more than God?
I think it's more probable, but I don't.
It would be
believe
weird
in
if there was
more.
a devil and
but
no God. That's probably worst case scenario.
I mean, sometimes it feels like it, man. Raj, I think. What did you just say? What are they channeling? What you had a great phrase there.
Oh yeah.
What are they channeling? I think you could make a great
what
game show in a
channeling?
dystopian future about that.
Blah blah blah. Is it
Ding, ding, but it's done exactly. It's done exactly in the vein of Price is Right.
It's
like that's the way it's decorated
that
and
type
everything.
of American game show thing. Alright, well, Dennis, final one. I think the heat is starting to get to both of us now at this stage. The final one.
Yeah, it is.
It's not from this world.
Oh, right. Okay, so where did it come
actually
from?
makes perfect sense in an alternate universe that it came from, and it fell through a hole or something.
All right, it does. Like some of the stuff looks like alien kind of biological alien stuff. Like it does. But
new
whether
theory,
or not,
new theory just dropped.
Go on, you have some.
It's actually a manuscript from an alien. Alien crash landed on Earth in 1400s Italy. He gets out,
wrote a book.
You know, he back then people looked weird, so he's getting away with it. Yeah, he's getting away with it. The only thing that people are saying to him is they're like, "Why'd you shave off all your head and not just leave the bit on top?" Right? So he gets an old monk's robe on. He starts scribbling stuff down, making notes, and he's making notes in like his own language. But he's obviously doing it with the technology that's on Earth at the time. Yeah.
Of his time on Earth.
He left it there.
Great. Yeah. Okay. I buy that. It's an alien. All right. The heat has completely destroyed me. This is the end of the episode. Right. Emotionally, physically, this is the end of the episode. I'm Denis Len. You can find me Denis Len 3D everywhere.
I'm
over
Roger O'Sullivan. You can find me at Roger O'Comedy on Instagram or at Roger O'Sullivan on Twitter /
Join us in Patreon now. I'm going to start talking about Jimmy Buffett. I'm actually going to look up his Wikipedia page and just see
I think
what the
we're
deal
both
with
going
him
to get water before
Yes, absolutely. And yes, that's kind of it, really. Thanks for all the 5 stars everywhere, and keep doing it. Keep telling your friends.
So on the back of that, love you. Bye. Have a big drink for yourself there.
There's no need to point that out every time you go for it. It's a very hot day out.